Done. All right. Adele, we have 17 people on right now. Yay.
Yay.
That's so exciting.
Hi, everyone. I can't see who's on, right? But I'm just
I know.
hi.
You are free to ask your questions. We'll be making sure to answer everybody's questions and, making this feel like a community as much as possible. The large intention of hosting these events was to create a sense of sisterhood and community during a time of physical distancing. And I couldn't think of anyone better to bring on than my dear friend and my therapist, the person both sane, Adele Tevlin. And I'll let you say something in a minute here, but
yeah.
A lot of you already know who she is. A good portion of you are healthcare providers and have seen this woman in action or have had an opportunity to hear her on a podcast. And she'll blow your mind with just how to work on resiliency and, mindset and how we, thrive through challenging times. And a lot of you women on here are rebels, and you've heard me rave about her. So I felt so grateful that we had the opportunity to bring her on and be able to, gain some really healthy mindset perspective from someone who I really adore and trust. And so without further ado, I welcome my friend Adele Tevlin.
Hi, Michelle. Oh, I'm going to cry. I literally spend my days crying lately of joy and gratitude. Honestly, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing to be here with your community. So thank you for having me. And I think that, I just want to start by saying I am truly grateful. I feel like this time in our life, with what's going on right now, I have a very distinct view of it. And I think it's such an opportunity. I see a world of opportunity right now for us to truly step up into a new level of leadership that's never been around before. And I think we're called as a consciousness, as a collective, to rise. And so if you find yourself on this webinar, I think I want to, let you know that you should really be patting yourself on the back and that you should be looking at yourself as a leader who was called, something subconsciously called you to this conversation, because you know that, look, you can either follow the fear or you can follow the love. That's it. There's two choices. And my stand inside of this has been, there's going to be a fork in the road moment here where people are going to thrive and have quantum leaps after this is over, because it will be over. This is just a pause. Or people will sink because they're going to follow the fear and they're going to get into that vicious cycle of fear, propagating more fear. And so I've been feeling very grounded, very blessed, very called to be of service to the people that I serve, my clients, my community. And so being here is just an extension of that. And I'm excited to provide as much value as possible here tonight. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited. And something that really hit home a while ago when we first started working together was something that you said about, there is no just staying stagnant. It's like you spiral up or you spiral down. And so I couldn't agree with you more that we need to lean in and trust that this is such a huge opportunity for really, it's a huge opportunity to actually cultivate gratitude, because it's incredibly difficult to feel gratitude at moments right now.
Yeah.
And you feel that bit of a fork in the road feeling of I have old wiring, old tendencies, old imprints that make me want to be afraid right now. And I've had moments come up, and my husband's even said, do you need to take a few minutes out, because this energy is not okay right now in the family. So it's so easy to go back to those primal fear thoughts. And but I believe you. I do actually think we'll come out of this the other side and really be wow, what an opportunity to cultivate. And everything I say to Rebel Tribe women all the time is it's like the lobster that has to outgrow that old shell, right? It's there's pain and growth, and it's not all pretty.
No. And it's so funny you say that, because a couple things come to mind right off the bat. So by the way, if you're all on here and that's resonating, this is what expansion looks like. Expansion, literally imagine yourself, your container expanding. There's tension and pressure. And for some people, they frame it like there's something wrong. And what I want to really teach people is framing it like, no, that's what expansion looks like. When I'm forced to love, when I'm forced to look at things from a different perspective, when I'm forced to see the opportunity as opposed to all the negative news, this is what expansion feels and looks like. But some people will cave under the pressure and other people will thrive. And this is what we're really going to be talking about today. But what I wanted to also say about what you said, Michelle, is that I talked about this with a client earlier today, like we're talking about our imprints. And for those people who don't really know what that is, we're going to talk, you'll hear me talk about this on, a million times over, but we all have these imprints. There are fear-based conditioning. There are how our subconscious mind keeps us safe and the same. Okay. And we all have very specific imprints from childhood. But what's happening right now is because we're in this fight or flight reaction, like globally, part of the fear that we're feeling is our own, and part of it is the collective. And I really want you to get that, because what's happening is we are one consciousness. Like collectively, we share a vibrational field. And so when there's a lot of chaos in the world and a lot of news and a lot of Trump and a lot of this and a lot of that and a lot of people's interpretations and a lot of like rhetoric, it adds to this fear-based vibrational field. Okay. So some of what people are feeling right now, getting hijacked by the fear, is what a great opportunity for your imprints to get activated when there's chaos all over the place. So that's actually just what it is to be human. Okay. It doesn't mean that I've woken up every day jumping around. Like have been mornings I felt heavy hearted, or mornings I felt kind of like whatever, but and I know how to use the tools that I teach and that I work with on myself to move past those moments of fear. But part of it is why are people getting so activated right now? I want to start with that. And even if you don't know what your imprints are, you've never heard it before, just get that what we all have these imprints that govern our behavior and our identity, but also that they're fear-based conditioning. So when we're in reaction to anything, reaction could be scared or anxious or watching the news, or your business is something or your client said something. When you're in reaction, that's what's happening is your imprints are getting activated. So why are we in reaction so much right now? Well, partly because our amygdala, our limbic system, is scanning for danger all around. And our basic need, we have one basic need as human beings, and that is survival. That is safety. So when people's safety and survival, and I say this in air quotes intentionally, because kind of a secondary comment is there's no such thing as safety. You could walk out the door tomorrow and anything can happen. That's just an illusion. But when we feel our perceived safety and security is being threatened, we go into fight or flight, sympathetic overdrive, complete limbic response. And we're not able to use our critical thinking skills. We're not able to be in gratitude because we're literally surviving. So why I think collectively people are getting really anxious is because they're feeling unsafe. They're feeling insecure. They're following the wrong information. They're not actually plugging into the facts. They're listening to people's interpretations of the stats. They're not actually looking at the World Health Organization or actual legitimate things. They're watching the news. They're propagating. So I wanted to start by saying that because I want to really place people in reality in this conversation. Like everything that I'm going to share is based on the reality, and distinguishing reality from fiction, right? Like I'm not going to propagate my rhetoric. It's about, you're either in love or fear. You're either following the love or following the fear. You're in a limbic reaction response. We all are right now because that's what energetically is happening. And it's because we perceive our safety to be threatened and our security. Does that make sense?
100%. And like, it's a unique time. I think we've had this amazing safe world that we've been a part of for a long time, that it's not that we took things necessarily for granted. I just don't think we really realized, how quickly things could be swept from under us. I was saying that today, like even the way I've consumed and look at my credit card debt, now I think like, how foolish, like what was I thinking? But I literally lived in the bubble where, certain realities weren't challenged. And so it's easy to go on and do the things that you do and then get super stuck in your limbic thinking. Like I even that first day when they decided they were going to close down schools, I was
Yeah.
like fearful driving home because I was like, are
Yeah.
people going to be chaotic? What is the environment going to be like? So what you're saying makes complete sense. And that is exactly what's getting flared up for me is like, are these imprints? And it is an opportunity. It's a lot of work, but it's such an opportunity to go, wow, that's where this is coming up for me.
Totally. Like with everyone I've been working with, what I feel collectively is people's imprint of I'm not safe is getting threatened, right? Everywhere you look, you don't feel safe. Like you go to the grocery store, people are wearing masks, and we've never lived through a time like this. This is going to go down in history. That's something that we're going to have lived through. But what I wanted is to kind of ground us in as we even get started is like looking at the facts, like how I see this as an opportunity where we talked about gratitude. So why is gratitude important even? And how can we cultivate gratitude in a time where we can't really see what to be grateful for? So I wanted to say a couple things about that. First, when I look at what's going on right now, I look at it like the constant statistics of regression to the mean. Okay, what does that mean? It means that in life, I love talking about the laws of the universe. Like when I say the laws of the universe, and you know what I'm talking about because we've talked about this, but I'm talking about an axiom of truth like gravity. Okay, you don't have to believe or understand gravity. In fact, some of the best physicists in the world don't understand gravity. Okay, you don't have to understand it to know that gravity is what keeps you on the ground in your chair. Okay. And just like the law of gravity, there's 7 other laws of the universe: the law of polarity, the law of cause and effect, the law of rhythm, etc. But let me talk about the law of rhythm here because it's important. What the law of rhythm says is everything in the universe moves in a flow, in and out. The tides go in and out. The sun rises and falls. The wavelength goes like this. The heartbeat goes like this. The regression to the mean is the inverted U goes like this. So why is this important? It's important because I believe what's happening right now is literally that we were on such an overconsumption, like you said. We were consuming too much of the environment. We were consuming too much. We were consuming too much stuff that wasn't feeding our souls. We were just in an overconsumption as a global situation, consciousness. And what's happening is now that this is happening. We're on the downswing of forcing our hand, because that's what the universe does. When you don't get the message loud enough, it's cause and effect. We are cause, that's the effect. What happens is the universe says, okay, we have to put this as a pause, meaning that we're going to call it COVID-19, for example. We've called it SARS in the past. We've also called it 9/11. We've called it cholera, the scarlet fever, every other pandemic that's ever happened. It's when there's been too much of a good thing or too much of something. The law of rhythm says everything is in a constant evolution of a cycle. So we're in a life cycle right now, and that life cycle is forcing us to pause, to spend time at home with the people that we live with. And there's a funny meme on Facebook that I thought was so funny, which is like, I spoke to this really nice woman on the couch last night, happens to be my wife. Like, honestly though, it's like people are getting to know their family. Like it gives me goosebumps because even me, like Dave and I, my fiance, like we were saying, this has brought us so close together because we finally feel like there's less distraction, like we could just be. And my son is so happy that we're home and we're making it all work. And, so there's an opportunity to slow down collectively, to not be as distracted, to let the environment rest. There's less carbon footprint, less pollution, less driving, less this, less that. There is a true opportunity to see that this is kind of calling us to live a more simple and meaningful life. It's also causing us to declutter our life. Like I said to someone yesterday, what is it that you love about this time that you think that you're really appreciating, that you want to bring into your life when this is all over? Because it will be over. This is just a pause. And in a month or 2, or whenever this is done, 2 weeks, what are you going to do to take this part of this beautiful experience and move it forward? What do you want to let go of from your calendar forever? What do you want to let go of from your life? Like this has given me personally, like for example, an opportunity to say, wow, there was so much in my calendar that I was doing because I felt I had to do it. Like coffees and this and this and this. Like I was just all over the place and it completely would wipe me out. It wasn't serving my highest good. And now that I have this like pause and this, like I can't do any of that stuff, I'm so much happier. Like, it doesn't mean I don't want to see people. I love people, but I'm actually an introvert. Like I'm an introverted extrovert. but I feed myself when I'm alone. And so, and because what I do for a living is so extroverted and I'm just giving so much of myself to people, by the end of the day, I just sometimes need to feed myself. This has given me an opportunity to do it without feeling any guilt. So my point in saying all this is that if we can take a different perspective, if we can reframe this and not look at it as such a fear-based thing and like a pandemic and all these words that people use that just right away cause you to spiral into fear. If you can actually say, this is actually the universal law of rhythm, the universal law of cause and effect. We are cause, this is the effect. The universal law of polarity, every time there's a law of polarity says that everything that was ever created has an equal and opposed side, like light and dark and yin and yang. That's the law of polarity. And what that says is if there's a problem, the solution is there in the same time and space. There are the other law of the universe that's really important to think about here, because I want to ground you guys in this knowingness that I have about this is all math. Like the universe operates on mathematical equations. That the principal law of the universe is the law of more life for all. Everything is always evolving for more life. So if you watch this right now, that's not what you see. You see the statistics of how many people are dying, which, by the way, I am grounded in that, and I get that. And how about the fact that 25,000 people die a day of hunger, or 57,000 die a day of heart disease or cardiovascular disease? You don't hear about that. So, or people die of the flu more every year than they are from this. But the world wants you to see the pandemic. And what I want you to see here is the opportunity. I want you to see that this is just the law of more life, the law of rhythm, the law of polarity, the law of cause and effect at work. And so if you can get grounded that this is happening for a greater reason, then you can start to see the opportunities of what is the greater reason for me? What is the greater reason for my practitioners or for my clients or my patients or my family? Does that make sense?
Totally. And I'm like listening to you, and I had a moment this weekend where I was like forced to slow down, as we all are. And I literally watched caterpillars like come up from the soil and fall back in with my kids, or worms. And I was like, I am missing it. I am missing this.
Yeah.
Because all of the things that I tell myself are important, and I am missing this really pivotal. My kids could have cared less, but I really like almost got teary-eyed of like all the little things I'm taking for granted. And you know, and I just think I, at a conscious level, hear you. I'm like, yeah, Adele, I agree. There's a huge opportunity here. When we're talking about raising the vibration and finding a high vibration for ourselves, like, unless we could actually carry you in our pocket, what do we do?
Well, we could try to figure out a way to make that happen. I mean, anything, I live by the rule that anything's possible. So
right?
like,
I would probably find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
So beyond that, how do we embrace our inner Adele? How do we get to this vibration state where, you know, we hear the news, we hear someone says someone in government has voted a lockdown. I've heard so many audacious stories in the last 2 weeks where I'm like, my head is spinning.
Yeah. Okay. Great question. So a couple things I'm going to take you guys through a group meditation that you and I always do, but I'm going to take us all powerfully through it because I love doing group stuff, because I'll pick up on everybody's stuff and I'll teach you how to get grounded by using our breath and all that stuff. So that I will do that with you guys, so you guys can actually have a lived experience of that. We're also going to talk about how you can use gratitude as a tool, as a resilience factor, because it is one of the very important factors to build resilience, which, by the way, is it's not a trait. Okay. So when I say that, what I mean is resilience is not something you're born with or not with. So people say, I'm not resilient, she's resilient. It's not a personality characteristic. It's actually a learned skill, a learned behavior by using different tools. Like there's 6 resilience factors, one of which is gratitude. So how to use a gratitude practice to actually start to move you from a low vibration state to a high vibration state. But let me just even start by saying, what does that even mean? How do we get in a high vibration state? Because I want to make sure that none of this is esoteric for anyone. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm a very spiritual person, but I marry spiritual science and spirituality in a way where this is all rooted in like physics and math and science and psychology. This is not, when we say high vibration states, what I mean is love, gratitude, joy are the 3 highest vibration. Shame, fear, and guilt are the lowest. So what does that mean when we say vibration? So if you imagine a scale, okay, high and low. When we measure emotions, which are just energy in motion, they are measured using hertz. Hertz is what we use in physics to measure energy, okay? Like the speed of light, the speed of sound, etc. So when they've measured joy, love, and gratitude actually being the highest, even above love, it's like 15,000 hertz. When they measure shame, which is the lowest, it's like 200. So what that actually means is, like, again, grounded in what does that mean? It means that if you are walking around feeling shame and fear and guilt, you are literally vibrating like almost dead. Like you're like, imagine vibration like that, okay? When you're operating at love, gratitude, and joy, you're like that. So their vibratory fields just mean that everything has a vibratory field. Everything is energy. So everything is vibrating at a certain number. And so when we can move up the energetic scale in a place of love and gratitude, why is that important? It's important because you're going to feel better. You're going to resonate. You're going to actually meet people at that same vibrational level. And gratitude, love, and joy are literally the language of manifestation and creation. So if you're someone that's creating something right now, you don't want to be creating from fear, because that actually puts out more fear. You want to be creating from a state of love, gratitude, and joy, because everything that you put out is vibrating there. So this is important from a lot of different perspectives. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Are there any questions?
No, no. Is there any questions so far? So far, no questions. We're good.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So let's actually just meditate together for a bit so you guys can actually just have that visceral experience of what I'm talking about, okay? So I want everyone to just close their eyes, and I'm going to close my eyes too, because I'm going to do this with you guys. So this is something that you guys could do at home if you're noticing that, and I wanted to say something else actually before we even start meditating, which is this idea of, I would suggest that you guys stop watching the news. So when you say, like, here's my perspective on it, is that the news isn't going to bring me anything valuable. Okay, it's not where I want to get my data, because that's not data, that's not fact, that's people's interpretation. So if you want to get facts, you go to the few websites that you trust to get the data. Other than that, my true hope for you out of this webinar is that you get that there's nothing of service to you that's fear-based right now. It's not going to have you make better decisions. It's not going to have you feel safe. It's not going to have you thrive. It's not going to have you perform or create anything of value. I promise you that. You cannot create from fear. It's two sides of the same coin. You can only create from love, okay? So when we're in fear, this is what I'm going to take you through, is how do you move from fear to love, from reaction to discernment. Those are the distinctions I use. So reaction is anytime you wake up, you feel at the day something happens and your mood shifts. You're feeling good, all of a sudden you're not feeling good, or you get some scary thoughts in your mind, or a client emails you and says, I can't renew because I don't have money, and you go into reaction and panic. Those are all examples of what reaction looks like. Okay, so now we close our eyes and we breathe. Okay, good. So everyone that's on here, I just hope you're sitting down or lying down, whatever feels comfortable, as long as you're not driving. And let's just start by calibrating our breath together. And I want you to think about, as we breathe, we're going to be doing what I call diaphragmatic breathing. So we're going to breathe deeply into the belly. So inflating the belly on the inhale and exhaling out the mouth. And again, we inhale deeply through the belly and we exhale. And as I talk and move you through this beautiful meditation, this grounding meditation, all you have to do is to keep focusing on breathing into your belly. As we breathe into the belly, we bring down the sympathetic nervous system. We start to feel the heart slow down. And when we focus on the breath, we get grounded in the present moment of now, the only moment that exists, the only moment that matters. And in this moment, everything is okay. You're safe. So feeling into the breath, feeling your back firmly supported by the chair you're sitting in or the bed you're lying in. Inviting you to just start to draw awareness to your body in the room now. Noticing where in the body you feel any tension. Perhaps it's in your chest or your throat, your heart or your stomach. And just gently bringing some breath and presence to those areas in the body. Good. And now I just want you to think about how you arrived here today. Maybe thinking about something that you got into reaction about either today or this past week. And I want you to drop into that experience like it's happening now. And I want you to just feel the way you feel in this experience. Maybe you watched the news or someone said something to you or something happened and you got scared. I want this to be a safe place for you to just allow yourself to feel the full range of emotions from a place of unconditional love and non-judgment for yourself. Allowing yourself to feel the fear, the uncertainty, the anxiety. And also allow yourself to feel the joy, the quiet, the peace, the opportunity, the love, the collective love that's coming together around the world. Being of service, the full range of emotions from a place of compassion for yourself and for humanity. Because when we don't allow ourselves to feel something fully, we repress or suppress those emotions, and that ends up causing us more pain. So in this moment here, we allow ourselves to just be and feel what we feel. And now I want you to scan your body. Scanning your body, noticing in the body where you hold the most tension when you feel those feelings. Maybe it's the heart center. For most people, it can be the stomach or even the throat, our area of self-expression. And ask yourself, what is it that I'm afraid of? What's getting activated? Maybe it's I'm not safe. Maybe there's something wrong. I'm not good enough. Whatever it is that's coming up for you, trust that whatever is coming up is the right answer. I can't do it. I can't make this work. I'm not going to survive this. And just allow yourself to notice all that that's for you in the last few weeks. Is I'm not safe. I'm not enough. There's something wrong here. And allow yourself to see all the ways that you've been reacting to that or making decisions from that place, a place of fear. And just asking yourself here, am I ready to let that go? And then we move into reciting affirmations, counter statements, high vibration statements that allow us to see things from a different perspective. And I'm going to repeat a few that you will recite in your own mind like a mantra until you start to notice a shift in your state. I am safe and loved no matter what. I am whole, perfect, and complete as I am. Everything is always working out perfectly for me, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be in this moment. Breathing deeply into the belly, I am safe and loved no matter what. I am whole, perfect, and complete as I am. Everything is always working out perfectly for me. And I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be in this moment. trusting that you are guided and protected, that everything is happening for your highest evolution, that you're exactly where you need to be in this moment, and that you are safe and loved. And repeating that a few more times in your own mind. And as you repeat that, noticing a wave of love, protection come over you. And as you feel that, I want you to draw some attention to the area around your heart, the seat of love and gratitude. Imagine your heart expanding and contracting and expanding, but focusing more on the expansion. And as you bring some attention and awareness to the area around your heart, start to imagine in your mind's eye the people, places, and things that bring you joy, that you love, that you're grateful for. Maybe it's your children, or your spouse, or your partner, or your cup of coffee in the morning, or the bed that you sleep in, the roof over your head, the food in your fridge. Feel your heart swell and amplify with love. Looking and noticing at all the things in your life that you're surrounded with, by all the abundance that you have, the love. And amplifying that feeling a little bit more. And then sending some love to both yourself and to someone in your life who you know needs it badly. And maybe someone that you don't know that needs it badly. This is how we collectively shift our vibration to one of love, of gratitude, of service. Asking, what can I give, rather than what can I get? Taking a few more deep breaths in through the belly. Allowing that all to integrate at the level of the cells and at the level of the subconscious mind. Shifting some of those patterns and beliefs. Seeing the truth and the essence of who you really are. Whole, perfect, and complete. And then bringing your awareness gently and slowly back to the body in the room. Feeling the breath in the body, your life force reminding you that you're alive and well. And most of what's happening is happening in your mind. And then slowly bringing some awareness to the area behind your eyes. And slowly and gently opening them and coming back to the room. How did that feel?
I could always stress. I'm never as calm as I am in this moment.
Yeah, this is the moment though. We all have access to this moment. This is high vibration. You feel like, I know for me, well, I feel tingly all the time because I'm picking up on everybody, but collectively when we move our vibration up, it's like so much more. It amplifies so much. But for me, when I think about opening my heart and bringing love into the heart and things and people and places that bring me joy, I literally, well up in tears, because we don't think about the things that we have. We think about what we don't have when we're feeling scared. And when we just bring some awareness to, and this is something you can do all the time, is just bring awareness to the heart and picture it amplifying by virtue of thinking about things in your life that you love, all the blessings, right? The heart is the seat of gratitude, of love, of manifestation, of creation. This is the most important organ when it comes to that. And so for most people, when they're scared, their heart closes. And so this brings us lower, as opposed to widen that love, widen that heart, and then send it out to someone that you know that needs it, or that you don't know that needs it. This is how we shift the vibration. That's an actual experiential way that we do that. And I brought in gratitude there at the end because that takes you to another level. That takes you to looking at what's the good in my life, right? Gratitude as a resilience factor is looking at, what am I grateful for? And the other thing I've been asking people to do is not only what are you grateful for right now, which is like you know, I'm grateful for my kids, or I'm grateful for this and all that stuff. But what are you seeing? What are you grateful about? Or what do you see as the good in what's happening right now? Like we talked about with you, Michelle, like noticing the caterpillar, like literally, like how much of a more of a metaphor can you get? When you quiet, I want you to get this too, this is really important. The more of this work that I've done over 15 years, and I've been blessed to work with some of the best coaches, mentors, spiritual leaders in the world, like quantum physicists and metaphysical people, and you know, some amazing people who have really shown me how to create from this different place. When you tap into those higher vibration states, the universe, I say the universe talks to you in metaphor. It doesn't like speak to you in language. That's a human thing. Okay. But it speaks to you in metaphor, like a caterpillar, which is what? Sign of transformation. You know, you're going to start to see these synchronicities show up, like slowing down to notice the caterpillar. I mean, that is quintessential. Like that's the work in action that you've been doing that we've been doing together, like noticing literally something that embodies transformation, because you yourself are embodying transformation. So I now look at things like the synchronicities that I see are wild, like stuff like I think of something, it appears, like just learning how to tap into that flow state, that state of abundance, that state of transcending the fear and the ego and moving into these high vibration states. What it does is it gives you direct access to the higher version of yourself. That's all it does. It's actually all just you. It all is just one. You are part of that. And so I've over time, and not when I first started, but over time, and especially in this time, what I've really, and I said this to my fiance just before this call, I said, I feel like I've been getting groomed my entire life for this moment. Like it makes me want to cry because it's like, I'm just like grounded amidst the chaos, and I'm of service, and I'm like, I want to bring as many people with me up, because I've been grooming my entire life for this. And so have all of you, if you're here, you know, so have you, Michelle. Like that's why you'll see people right now that you're like, they're like, I can list like 5-7 people that I'm like, they're thriving in this. They're showing their leadership. They are leaders. They're not talking about being leaders. They are leaders. You are one of them. Dr. Megan Walker is one of them. I'm one of them. There's a select group of people that are seeing the opportunity to truly be of service, to truly create, to really bring people up with them, right? And then there's the people that are doing the opposite. And I just don't engage with that. That's my choice. We all have a choice in what we choose to attend to. So I don't choose to attend to negative news. I don't choose to attend to people's rhetoric. I don't choose to attend to, even when my parents call and they want to talk about it, or this group chat that my family's on, I politely like say hello and I excuse myself. I delete emails from threads of people that are sending me stuff. Like, I don't need to know that. That's not my job here. This is my job here.
Well, and that really hits home, is like that discernment of like what you're even letting in.
Yes, it's everything, because I'm going to say something, and this is really good. This is really important. Like as human beings, what differentiates us from other animals in the animal kingdom and every other species is our cognitive mind gives us the ability to choose our thoughts. Okay. We aren't just at the mercy. The only thing you have control over, and that's what I was saying the other day, is like people are feeling out of control, like they can't control. You were never able to control the government, by the way. You were never going to control the traffic. You were never controlling. You just had the illusion that that you had all this control and safety. Nothing's actually really changed. All you can really control are your thoughts and your ways of being and your behavior. None of that's changed. So you're right. Discernment to say, is this going to serve me or is this not going to serve me? I get to choose what I listen to, who I talk to, what I fill my mind, my subconscious mind with. Like people say to me, like, what's your daily practice? I'm like, well, on a good typical day, my daily practice would be my morning meditation and my affirmations and all the things that we talk about in our program together. But during times where there's a lot of chaos, I double down. I probably do an hour and a half to 2 hours of, before anyone wakes up in the morning, of like grounding work, meditation, going out for a walk, listening to a podcast, listening to a mentor of mine. Like I fill myself up to the brim with love vibration before I even get out in the world. That's what I'm committed to right now, because if not, I'll find myself getting into the flow of the fear. I'm no different than you. I'm human. So it's a choice. We all have that choice.
Yeah, that just really hit home for me in terms of like, yeah, the investment so that you know you can show up as your best self at this time otherwise. And something that really stuck with me that you said to me last week that has not left my mind is, you know, what has got you to this moment is going to work against you, right? So it's like now everyone here, and there's a lot of you here, have this level of consciousness. You've now actually got to tap into yourself. And I think what is so amazing about Adele is that she literally just taught us, like, it's all within us and we have this power to tap into this at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Now the things that we're using that got us to this level of where we are not going to continue to advance us. And I think I think it helps to hear someone like you say that, like, okay, when times get real, like you double down, like now you're doing more of this.
100%.
The ego tells me to sleep in.
Yes.
Skip my affirmations, right? So
yes.
it's really interesting. And I think, you know, and I'm going to get to our question and answers because we've got a few, but I think what really matters is to like highlight that it's all within us and it's untapped potential, but we have to show up for ourselves and like do the work and double down when in times of
100%. I love that. And I love that you brought that up about, because I know that resonated, and it resonated with me when I first learned it too. So, I mean, I'm a student of my own work. I was not born this way, just like as Lady Gaga, or who is it? Is it Lady Gaga? Yeah. I was not born this way. I mean, I was always an enlightened kid. I think I was always wiser than my years. That hasn't changed, but this is self-taught stuff. Like, this is my commitment to myself. I've been invested in personal development and transformation for 20 years. I have done it, read it, bought the t-shirt, sold the t-shirt, done the thing. And let me tell you something. I was not conditioned this way. If you look at my family, I am the opposite. And I love my family and they're amazing. And I choose to live a very different life, and you're all able to do the same. And it does come with investing in yourself. Part of what I think needs to be debunked is that people think that this should come easy. And I said it to Michelle, and I say it to every client, like, this is the road less traveled for a reason, because it's not for the faint of heart. It is not easy to go to war with your mindset. It is not easy to confront the shadow side of yourself. It is not easy to wake up in the morning and meditate and do your thing and affirmations. It's not easy, but nothing is easy. It's also not easy to be broke and sad and miserable and fearful and anxious. It's your choice of what are you going to invest your energy in. You're either feeding your ego or you're feeding your higher self. It takes just as much energy, by the way, to do both. People have it like, I'm too tired, I don't have time. Well, you have enough, same amount of time to do that or this. But your ego, like you said, the part of your mind that wants to keep you safe and the same, doesn't want you to transcend it, because that means it died. So when you are going to war with your mindset, and I like using that word, is because you're going to have that little ego voice in your head that says, I'm too tired, I don't have time, I have to worry about my bills. And then you have the higher self part of you that says, well, actually, you need to do this if you're going to transcend that. So you're always in a battle. I'm in the battle too, but the more I've done this work for years and years, I'm talking about decades, okay? It doesn't have to take that long, but in the last years, what happens is that eventually you're able to quiet the ego enough that the higher self most of the time will win. It doesn't mean I'm perfect, like I said, but it's like 90-10 versus for most people, it's ego 90, higher self 10. We just flip that ratio of like, who am I listening to, my ego or my higher self? So, you know, there's so much, you know, you and I could riff about this for like 5 hours and do a 5-hour webinar, but I do want to get to Q&As because I think that's going to be really important for people. And then we can guide them to like how they can continue to get value from us. Mm-hmm.
If anyone has any questions now too, here's your opportunity to ask them. I'll ask the questions that were sent to me ahead of time. Kim just wrote she really enjoyed that, and she would love if those affirmations could be written down for everybody.
She was wanting them to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Well, we can send that in a follow-up. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Someone said, would we talk about the challenges for people who don't have access to their mental health professionals right now? What are some resources? What are some ways? I do know that if you advocate and speak to your healthcare professional, they might be able to provide some telemedicine practices because it is considered an essential service. But Adele, maybe you know of some ways where we can send people
if they don't have access to their mental health provider. That's something I'd have to think about. I mean, I think that I don't really know the answer to that, to be honest. I think that like I'm a mental health provider and I'm still working through this time. In fact, like busier than ever, like I said, because I think this is an essential service at a time like this. But I think even the tool that I gave you here around learning how to meditate and how to breathe and how to like move yourself from reaction to discernment is something that's very practical for people to take away. And then at the end of this, I'll share like some other things I'm doing like for free, like another webinar next week, and other ways that we can continue to engage if that's something that works for you. I would say definitely like out to your healthcare provider and figure that out. But I think most people that are mental health providers are really working right now because we need to be.
Yeah. Okay. How do you let go of the feeling of being the perfect mom, the perfect wife, and now teacher during this time?
Teacher, like homeschooling teacher? Like teaching?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Homeschooling. Now new homeschooling teachers.
Well, so the quick answer is, how do you let go of that? So I love that. So part of it is, it's so funny because that's how the ego talks to you. Is people are like, how do I let go? And the simple answer is you choose to let go. So that's part one, is it's firstly starting and saying, this perfectionism thing is not working for me anymore. I always say when people have that kind of come to Jesus moment where they're like, the way I've been operating, to your point, is no longer working for me. Again, law of rhythm, law of inverted U. Like it works and then it really doesn't. So first is just even identifying and accepting, like, I no longer want to do things this way. The other thing is it's this really letting go is a choice. It's really understanding that like you can let go of anything. You can choose happiness. You can let go of resentment. It starts with a choice. But the other piece is that this need to be perfect is definitely one of your imprints, whoever asked that question. So this idea of imprints is like, and you know, because you have a similar one and I am a recovering perfectionist. So part of it is just, it's your subconscious programming. And so what I teach is how to actually start to rewire that. That happens over time, and through a practice, but you are able to rewire it. And it's even just recognizing that that's part of your subconscious mind, that's part of your program, that it's not the truth of who you are. It's an identity that you develop from your mom and your dad as a kid. So if you feel like everything you need to do is perfect, it has to be perfect in life, it means that you have an I need to be perfect imprint, most likely.
Well, and I love that too, because, you know, you even bringing attention to that can reveal that blind spot for people so they can actually take a step away from it now and observe it from a different light, which I think is hugely empowering.
Well, I love that, because exactly. So that's what I say to people is like, I pull their blind spots and I pull them right in front of them so they're no longer blind. Yeah. So everything that I've talked about today, I really want you to all to understand is your subconscious mind got everything I said. You don't need to make notes. Okay. You can make notes, but everything that I said speaks to your subconscious mind. That meditation I took you through, just trust that you've embodied what you needed to embody here today for sure. It also starts to pull, into your awareness, some of these blind spots. Some of the imprints are a blind spot, like needing to be perfect, or needing to get things right, or needing to feel safe, or needing to feel loved, or needing to feel good enough. These are things that you developed early on in life that you spend your entire life trying to confirm. It's like confirmation bias over and over again. Mm-hmm. And right now, like I said, collectively as a consciousness, because there's so much fear in the environment, what's been coming up for all my clients this week is this need to feel safe, certainty, security. And then people do crazy shit when they need to feel safe. They do things that actually push safety away. That's the way the ego, that's the funny thing about it, is like you start to see the tricks of the ego. Like, I need to feel safe, so then I'm either going to stay home and not put out anything and do anything, or I'm going to do all these other things that are not safe behaviors. So it's funny that this need to feel safe actually often pushes safety away from us. But then it's this next level understanding that safety is an illusion, that the only time in life we actually needed to feel safe and survive was when we were babies, because our parents needed to take care of us to survive. But if you are a 30, 40, 50-year-old high functioning person, the only person keeping you safe is yourself. And then one step further is safety is an illusion. Like, if you live your life based on safety, you will stop yourself from doing a lot of things that will feed your higher self, because your ego just wants to keep you safe. So when you just learn that that's the way that the ego speaks to you, and it speaks to everybody, like everyone has an ego, by the way, I do too. My ego talks to me like when I'm doing something that's really important, I would get sick. Like, this is my whole life. Like, every time I was like about to do, like, expand, I'd get sick. And it was a way that my ego would keep me small. Now what happens is sometimes I still do get sick when I'm about to do something big. Maybe that's just because I compromise my immune system too much, but or go into overdrive. But either way, I now look at it like, oh, here we go. That's how my ego is about to keep me small. I ain't playing with it like that anymore. So I joke, I can see it now for what it is, right? And I'm able to discern and make different choices. I don't want you guys to leave this without getting that. I don't want you to make decisions right now from a place of fear. Whether that's, do I open or close my clinic? Do I lay off people? Do not make it from fear. You will make a fear-based decision that you will regret. You do not want to make any decision in life from fear. You want to move yourself from fear, reaction, to discernment. And from that higher vibration place, you'll cultivate a lot more creativity. A lot of new possibilities will come into your awareness that you didn't know were possible, and you'll make much better grounded decisions.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like oh yeah, I know I do. My children.
Yeah.
You need a sip of water? Yeah, you can just fill it up.
Aww. I'm just reading some of the posts
here. Can you read some of them? Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna ask you one last one, and then we'll read.
Yeah, they're really beautiful.
I know. Diana,
you want to cry.
Diana, you need
what?
I need to connect you to Diana, who's amazing.
Okay, perfect.
How to maintain a sense of Okay, so yes, last question here that was sent to me beforehand. How do you maintain a sense of positivity when experiencing heartbreak and living in isolation for an extended period of time?
Well, first of all, I just want to, whoever wrote that question, I just want to acknowledge that it's not, I want to acknowledge the full range of emotions too. Like, none of this is saying it's easy. And so we are all on some level experiencing isolation and heartbreak and fear. And it doesn't mean that we aren't all experiencing some level of that. Part of it is not a resisting those feelings. So when I moved you through that meditation, part of that step 2 there was allow yourself to just be with that right now. Allow yourself to be with it from a place of compassion for yourself, for your humanity, but then flip it and then also start to move into those higher vibration states by looking at the good in your life, by looking at how can I be of service to someone else right now. If I'm feeling sad, the first thing I do is ask who can I help? It pulls me right out of my ego. It pulls me right out of that victim consciousness that we can all go drop into. That's part of humanity, and go, okay, I'm not feeling good. I'm going to actually just try to be of service over there to someone else who might need me. So part of it is allow yourself to feel what you feel, and then allow yourself to move to a higher vibration. Don't stay there too long. What happens to people is they'll stay there for too long, and that is not serving you or anyone else. And so move yourself up by thinking about the love in your heart and how you can be of service to other people.
Love that answer.
Mm-hmm.
Who are your spiritual teachers and mentors?
Oh my gosh, I've had so many, some that are alive, some that are not alive, some I've worked with, some I haven't. I mean, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Napoleon Hill. I read some of the oldest books and prophets and Buddha, and I've worked with some amazing coaches in my life. I worked with a beautiful shaman a few years ago named Diana out in Utah. I'm part of a spiritual community called Association of Transformational Leaders in Costa Rica. that I'm a part of. And so I've been able to speak and be part of that community and meet some very profound spiritual leaders in the world that I've gotten to work with as a result of that. And just my own work over the years. Oh, hi. Oh my gosh.
I really wanted to say hi.
That she's beautiful.
Okay.
So cute.
Oh.
Yeah. So lots of, I am just a lifelong learner, and I've just been really called to do this work, and then my own, education and at Harvard and McGill, like I've been invested in this work really for the last 20 years. And so I can't just say one thing. It's been, like I said, I think I've been groomed my entire life for this moment, to be here with you guys on this in this conversation, to be of service, to provide the love and the value here. So I'm very grateful. And I want to read some of these comments because they're really great. Lynn said, thank you for offering this. Really needed it today. My pleasure. Didn't we all? Mandy said, this has been so amazing and confirming for how I've been feeling. Thank you for your love, energy, and willingness to serve with your huge and open heart. Thank you.
Aw.
I'm going to cry. Lynn, maybe I missed it, but how do you find your blind spot and imprints? Oh my God, me too. You didn't miss it. We didn't go through that because that's what I do with my one-on-ones. It's a whole practice I take people through that does take some time, but we can, you can find out more about that if you reach out to me directly, and we will be sending ways for you guys to stay connected. And then Christina said, so powerful. Thank you so much. And then Jennifer, what podcast are you listening to right now? So the podcast question. So I don't just, so I listen to podcasts. I love Michelle's, I love Dr. Walker's, anything that inspires me, Ritual, but I also listen to my own episodes. Like, it's funny because I've been recording a lot. So then when I get them sent, I listen to them because I actually just take the seat of the observer when I get interviewed, and then I listen to it back. I think it's really powerful. So you're free to, oh, Nellie was there. I could listen to you speak for hours. She's one of my clients. If you go on we're going to send this in our follow-up email, but if you want to even just write this down now, if you go to my Instagram, Adele_wellness, you go to the links in my bio, there's about 6 podcasts there, 6 hours of Adele. They're free. So feel free to listen to them. Something else that I'm doing that we'll add to the email as well is next week, I'm hosting a free masterclass next Thursday at 11 a.m. And it's all going to be on mindset, cognitive behavioral therapy, going deeper into this work that we're talking about today. There's loads of ways to stay connected, and we'll make sure we link all of you guys up with that. Michelle and we're just talking before this about doing more of, Instagram lives or Facebook lives together for you guys to add value during this time. So we're open to doing lots of fun things, maybe another masterclass like this. So stay tuned and stay following this community, because what Michelle has created is beautiful.
You cry.
No, I know. I feel I have so much love for you. So
mutual, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a few more questions that I was going to miss all that feedback. You guys' feedback was beautiful. Thank you for everyone who showed up. Everyone stayed for the whole time too, which is amazing.
We didn't bore you. Awesome.
Okay. What should we do if we're stuck in our heads about posting on social media because we're scared of not being perfect? Mostly because I feel like I don't have a niche. I feel like that's practitioner.
Just taking a picture of all you. So the question is, how do I stop from posting? Because how do I post? Because
what should we do if we're getting stuck in our heads about posting on social media, which I totally identify with, when we're scared about not being perfect, mostly because this person doesn't have a niche.
So that's something. I think I said this to you last week. Get over this idea of being perfect, because here's how you can move through that right now, especially. Okay. So this is going to be my 2-second answer to that. The world needs what you have to say. Stop being selfish about being perfect and not putting it out there. Okay. The world needs what you have to say right now. It doesn't need to be perfect. If it's coming from love and it's coming from service, you not sharing it is selfish. you need to realize that we have to put that stuff aside right now. If you are called to lead, if you're inspired to create, if you're a practitioner and you're of service, the world needs you to be a true leader. And it's such an easy time right now to actually, for me, it's like, perfect is not even on the radar. It's like, just be in the work, be it, do it. Like, you know what I mean? So move that aside and just get into action, get into aligned action for yourself right now.
I love that. One last question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend to your family not to be fearful?
Yeah. Do I recommend? Well, I have a son who's almost 4. He'll be 4 in a month. So he doesn't even know what fearful means, because his subconscious mind, he has not formed his cognitive mind yet. He doesn't have an ego. Okay. So he is fearless. But what Dave, my partner, and I, who live together, he does this work too. We're both really into personal development, and we're both leaders in this kind of work. So we have certain rules around the house. We don't even have cable, so we never watch the news. We limit social media. We only listen to things that are uplifting. We both ground ourselves and meditate in the morning. We both do the practice. We're both committed to a high vibration state. Now, does that mean that's always perfect? No, but what ends up working out is that if he's in a funk, I raise him up. If I'm in a funk, so we are committed to both being of service to one another as well, because we're both we're not perfect in our humanity, but yeah, we don't allow, and especially now more than ever, I would say that I've doubled down on this. Like, it's funny because even groups that I've been part of for a long time, like, I'm getting emails and I just check into my body. I'm like, I don't like how this feels. And so I just delete. I don't even rationalize it anymore. I'm just like, I don't have time to not feel good. I need to feel good for my people, and for myself. So I really check in and tune into the body. Like when I took you guys through that meditation and I said, feel where you feel the tension, feel where you feel the reaction. So if you're someone that feels reaction in the belly or the chest or the throat, you'll notice when things come into your awareness now, you'll feel it there. And that's a signal, delete. That's a signal. I'm sorry, I don't want to have that conversation. I'm not engaging in that.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so sorry. I have a daughter.
Yeah, no. I think we're at the hour.
Yeah, no. I remember you saying to me, and I think it's an important one, is like, it's a beautiful day when you actually don't care anymore what everyone else thinks. And I'm not there yet. But I definitely have huge empathy for the person who's wrote that. It's just, we do have a responsibility to show up and serve and share our message, and it gets easier the more you keep pushing and putting yourself out there. And so we've gotten really beautiful feedback from a lot of awesome
this is funny. And Jennifer Kennedy goes, what if you feel that way about your in-laws? Well, I always say that if you want to test how developed you are, spend some time with your family, because it'll pull out all your inner child stuff and all your imprints, and that's just the way that it works. Look, you can't control what you can't control, and you can only control what you can control. And I want to leave you guys with this. You can't control what Trump does. You can't control what Trudeau does. You can't control the news. You can't control your partner. You can't control your in-laws, but quarantined with my mom. But what you can control is your response, your reaction, your discernment, your thoughts, your behavior, your way of being. And as you change, and I truly believe and have lived this and see it, as you change, the world changes, not the other way around. If you're waiting for the world to change for you to change, you've got the cause and effect backwards. You change, the things around you change. So all you can focus on in this time is all the power that you have and agency for this, for all of this.
Yeah. So what a perfect time. Pandemics and quarantine within laws. The perfect opportunity
for evolution.
Yeah, that's right. And so I'm sure everybody agrees there's no more perfect person to have here other than you to walk us through that and to actually get to experience a moment of expansion, like that heart swelling felt like such an amazing, wonderful thing. And I can't wait to take that and go share that with the world. And I'm sure everyone here feels the same way. So Adele, I know we're going to send everybody a follow-up email tomorrow with all the resources. If you want to say anything about any of the stuff, you've got so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
We're going to start manifesting a lot of other fun ideas of ways to work together. But I really value you as a woman, and I appreciate your time. You're the one who was like, how can I help you with your community? How can I be of service? And
Yeah.
there were so many awesome individuals here who got to like really get to embody
Yeah.
witness your magic. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you for having me. Thank you everyone for your, and then someone asked, will you send the recording of the session?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're going to send a follow-up email. It's going to have the recording. It's going to have how to reach me, my Instagram handle, Adele_wellness, my email, all the great things that we'll be doing next week, webinars and all the other resources that are there. So, at least follow me on Instagram if you want to tonight to see the podcast and all that kind of good stuff. And then we'll send a follow-up email and always keep you in the loop about all the other fun things we're going to be doing. Oh my gosh, so cute.
I gotta get her to bed, guys.
Yeah, okay.
No.
I love you.
Thank
Love
you
you
so much.
guys.
Yeah, much love. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll connect with you all tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
Bye.